I've always been interested in like people with like success and stuff, and it kind of goes back to like the conversations we had. Did you know this was always going to happen, or did you kind of just fall ass backwards into it?
No,
Like
I
this,
didn't know.
like
No, absolutely not.
James Beards, like like when what was your like original goal?
I think I just wanted to be a chef at some
Yeah.
point. No, I mean, no. I met my business partner, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
He had hired me to be the chef at Marigold Kitchen, which is a restaurant that he owned. I was done with my 3-year stint at Vetri, and he hired me. And then we got along really well, and we decided that we wanted to open an Israeli restaurant. Mm-hmm. And then we did, and, I mean, it was a really rough, opening, obviously. We opened in 2008. 4 months after opening this restaurant that we had collateralized our houses, all this, Steve drove me to, drug rehab.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was hiding, an addiction. It was a fucking mess.
Sure.
I found out that we won Esquire's top new restaurants in rehab from a payphone.
Really?
Dang.
Yeah, in
Payphone,
Chester
too.
County. Yep, payphone.
You opened one of the greatest restaurants in the country during addiction.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, so we opened the restaurant at the end of my things were coming to an end, right?
But but opened, yeah. But there was a process to continue what you were going through.
So we opened in May. My business partner drove me to rehab after finding out that his business partner was hiding a crack addiction from him and a heroin addiction from him. Drove me to rehab, and then I came out, and the economy tanked, and we almost closed. And I was early recovery, trying to get from one block to the other without calling my drug dealer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What was Steve? You said
Steve was.
This guy's got ironclad will.
He's
Steve Cook, man.
shout out
Yeah.
to Steve.
Steve Cook.
Steve
yeah.
Cook.
Steve,
Exactly.
Steve Cook.
Shout out to Steve
Cook.
Cook. Steve was
So I
cooking,
remember
yeah.
coming out of rehab and sitting in my South Philly backyard, which is 4 feet of concrete that smells like cat piss. And I was like, "Hey, man, I can leave the business. I'm so sorry I did this." And he was like, "Let's take it easy. We're in this together. We solve problems together. All this stuff, right?" And then, early recovery is inches, right? Yeah. You're it's a game of inches, right? I have to get up. That's why it's 24 hours just for today. Yeah. I have to get up. I have to put on my clothes. I have to get out of the house without scoring, without obsessing, right? So I would go to an A meeting at 7:15 in the morning after being awake all night, going through kind of post withdrawal. That's why I started watching Friday Night Lights, because it was on demand and I had nothing to fucking do from the hours of 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. Right?
Yeah.
So I just watched Friday Night Lights, and I started speaking with a Texas accent. I'd go into the restaurant and be like, "Let me tell you something," clear eyes, full heart, can't lose. And so I got really into football, and then I would not really sleep because my body was kind of in withdrawal.
Sure.
I would go to an AA meeting on 19th and Walnut in the basement of the church, because I would. You have to do the opposite behavior of what you did in addiction. Yeah. So I would usually go to bed when I was getting high at 7 o'clock in the morning when the birds were chirping and sun was coming up. So I was I have to go to the earliest AA meeting. So I would go there. Steve would pick me up from the meeting, drive me into work every single morning.
Wow.
Every single morning. This is coming from the guy that found out that his business partner was hiding. I could have ruined everything.
Yeah, you
for
said
everybody.
houses, collateral, all the same.
Right.
And my now ex-wife, my wife at the time, used to pick me up every single night from work and drive me home because I couldn't get from point A to point B without picking up or relapsing or whatever. So, it was rough. And then the economy falls apart, and I'm I had to call my dad in Israel to borrow money to make payroll because we were going to close the restaurant. We were tanking. And my dad, is a pretty stoic, chill dude. And we're sitting in the back of Zahav, in the courtyard, smoking cigarettes. And we're oh my God, what are we going to do? And this wasn't for us to make money. This was to pay people that have already worked there. And so I called my dad, and he knew that I was obviously in very early recovery. And, I've never asked my parents for money or anything like that, and called my dad, and I was "Listen, Abba, I need to borrow $10,000. I had 55 or 60 days clean.
Yeah.
I need to borrow this money." And he was "Are you okay?" And that's a big deal for my family. Like, that's a lot of money. And he was like, are you all right? And then I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And he's like, are you sure? And I knew what he was asking, obviously. And then I hang up the phone, and Steve's phone rings, and it's my dad calling him to be like, is Mike okay?
Yeah.
And so, you know, and so my dad sends us this check. And then the next day or next week or whatever, Philly Mag puts us at like #1
Wow.
restaurant. And then it was like restaurant week. And because it was during the recession, it was like 2 weeks.
Shit. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
And we, for the first time, actually made money.
Yeah.
Which was incredible because restaurant week like forces you into a format that our guests could understand.
Sure.
And so we like, you know, like our break even was like $40,000 a week or something like that. And so first week of restaurant week, we made $50,000.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, we're rich. And then our hot water heater fucking went out. And it was
always goes,
$12,000 to repair. Like it was like, whatever. But that check, my dad's check, that we never cashed. It sat on Steve's desk for like a decade.
Wow.
We never cashed it. And then, you know, I, of course, with the help of like every single person around me, all the resources, all the inpatient, outpatient, you know, extensive IOP for like a year, A meetings every single day, therapy.
Sure.
And, you know, the grace of like every single person alive and not alive in my life, I made it. I got through early recovery.
What an incredible story.
Yeah.
Jeez, man, that's really beautiful, especially just your buddies and your ex-wife seeing, like, I imagine they saw the potential for what you're doing now inside of you, and that helped them kind of push you along the way. I mean, I'm sure they loved you, of course, too. But I mean, that's definitely part of it, of course. Yes.
But they're like, this guy cooks a mean fucking hummus.
You're like,
No.
you cannot let him die.
No, that's not what I meant. I'm not good at that's a really beautiful story. I'm trying to find the nicest way to go along. That's really nice.
Listen,
I just love that your drug of choice is now hummus.
Yeah, true.
My drug of choice is coffee, and that's probably my only one. But yeah, listen, it is a hard. It's hard to ask for help. It's hard to like deal with this stuff. We have an industry that's really sort of addiction prone.
Oh yeah.
And to be, you know, clean and sober and kind of open about it has been such a meaningful thing as well. So to go back to the original question, do you ever see this? Like, no, I should be dead. You know,
Yeah,
this is
100%.
all a huge gift, and I think that our success is largely due to this partnership that Steve and I have, which is like utmost trust, and then also this unbelievable team, which you guys have dealt, Danny, our team, like we have an incredible team, and that's
Shout out Nastasha.
Chef Natasha, plugging in the Vita Prep.
We would have been so fucked.
I would have had to close the restaurant had she not plugged in the blender.
You imagine putting that?
I would have caught on fire.
Put that note out on the front door.
Oh,
Sorry,
my
blender's
God.
not working today.
My bad.
Look, I hate to see it. I got to capitalize on an opportunity. I'd make a TikTok right after, like, they can't even fucking turn the blender on here, dude.
Boo! Yeah.
Come with me to the best restaurant in the entire Philadelphia
They
that
cannot
can't even turn on the goddamn blender.
They're one blender away from a Michelin star. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.